Hi everyone, thank you for joining this video. This video is for Year 4 children and we are going to be reviewing Week 2's homework from your verbal reasoning block, and it is block 5. My name's Chris Pearce and I'm going to be going down through this video with you. You won't be able to see me during this video, but you will be able to see the slides so you can follow it through, check your homework, see how you've progressed, and also put down your scores as well. That is quite important, you put your scores down. So, shall we make a start? So the first thing that we're going to look at is we're going to just look at what those tasks were. So we're focusing on week 2's. So we're going to be looking at your unit 3 and 4, which is your spelling and vocabulary workbook, the 9 and 10 bond book. We're also going to be looking at tests 7, 8 and 9 as well on pages 25 to 34. We'll also look at puzzle 3 as well. So we're going to be focusing on all of these tasks here, and we're going to go through all of the answers for those individual exercises. First one we're going to look at is from your spelling and vocabulary workbook. You were focusing on Unit 3 and Unit 4. So we're going to have a look first of all at the first page. So we're going to be working from page 11. So the first thing you had to do was you had to fill in a grid and work out which number represents each letter to solve this puzzle. Now, as you can see, it's all been filled in. What you can be checking is that you have all of these compound words, and these are all compound words down the left hand side, and they've slotted in to all of those different empty boxes, and they make those words complete. Just at the top here, it's easy to see which number represents which letter. So you can go down through and you can check. So what we would probably suggest is that if you have got the whole grid correct and you've filled all of this in, then you can obviously give yourselves a nice tick. But yes, these were all compound words. So it can be a good opportunity when you're watching these videos maybe to pause it now, have a bit of time to double check that you've got all the numbers and the letters correct, and that you actually filled in those blanks with the right letters and they spelt compound words. Okay, let's have a look down through the next task. This was task B, and divide the words from your list into 2 component words. So all of these words will come from the list that you've got here, and we're just splitting them into 2 separate words. So again, you can go down through and double check. So we've got eardrum, eyeball, eyelid, eyesight, farewell, fingernail, firework, forecast, forehead, forgive, fortnight, fortune, greenhouse, greyhound and headache. So it's just splitting those 2 words up in that compound word list. So again, if you want to pause it, double check it, you could write a score here out of 15 if you like, if you've got them all split correctly. And let's move on to the next task. Next thing we had to do, we had another set of words down the side, and they had to slot into the different gaps, making that sentence make sense. So let's just quickly read these out. Number 1, camping was a brilliant experience as we were so close to nature. Number 2, my auntie says that I am her favourite niece. Number 3, it was so weird seeing my teacher on holiday in the same hotel. Number 4, the woods at night became an eerie place to be. Number 5, the kitchen caused mischief by unravelling the ball of wool. The chief engineer was in charge of 5 other engineers. Number 7, I returned the broken crockery to the shop as I had the receipt. Number 8, I do believe that reading books widens our vocabulary. Number 9, the pupils were asked to answer either questions 1 or question 2. Number 10, nobody replied when we knocked on the door. Number 11, the boy tried to deceive the teacher, but the teacher had the results. Number 12, unfortunately, out of 8 pupils, the boy came 8th. Number 13, we all took a brief break before returning to the meeting room. Number 14, the decorator painted the ceiling white to lighten the room. Number 15, I was relieved when I had my results and knew that my leg wasn't broken. Number 16, you might pierce the balloon if you put it near the rose bush. There's just clarification up there of those 16 words. So again, as you go down through, give the ones that you've got right a tick, and then maybe just a score out of 16 down the bottom would be a really good idea. So well done if you managed to get all of those correct. Let's have a look at the next one. This one we're looking at synonyms. So they do come from down the side again, but they need to be synonyms to the word on the left hand side. So naughtiness, we've got mischief, that means the same. Trust and believe, main and chief, lie and deceive, short and brief, answered and replied. So again, as you go down through, if you've got it correct, you selected the right word, give it a nice tick. Okay. On the next activity, this is task E, we've got to join up all the animals' young. So what I've done is I've captured the list up here, just so you can double check. And then if you want to follow the lines will lead from the adult animal to the baby animal. So it's a good way of you double checking. Hopefully you had a bit of fun trying to join them all up. Sometimes it might have been a bit of a process of elimination. For example, you may not have known what a baby ferret is. A baby ferret is a kit. There may have been a couple of other new ones for you. Sometimes with lots of words that are baby animals, they often have let at the end. So owlet, piglet, okay, that's often a common ending. Swan and cygnet might have been a new one to you as well. If you go down through, what you can do, if you just tick each of the animals where you got the correct baby, so you could just tick them off like this, maybe tick them underneath here on the bottom, adult animals, just checking that you've matched them up correctly. Okay, and that was task E. So well done. Have got a little picture here of an animal. I wonder which baby animal you think that might be. What baby animal do you think that is? Okay. Next task for F, some of these words can have one letter added to make a new word. So write the new word below. So what we're doing is we're adding these letters. So sometimes they might come at the end, sometimes they might come maybe in the middle, and these are the 4 words that we've got. So we've got cube, fray, kind and kite. Fray is when something like thread might fray, so something on your top you might have thread that comes away and that starts to fray. Got task G now. Some of these words can have the first letter removed and another added to make a new word. Write the new word below. Just to make you aware here, there are lots of options, so it may not be necessarily the ones we've got here. Other ones will work, so you can easily check. There are some other examples in the back of the book, so if you look up here, you can also see what those other options might be. So it's not just necessarily going to be one answer. So if you haven't got the same as me, maybe check with your mum or your dad or your guardian, just double check and see what if you were correct. But in this one, if we change the first letter from chick, we get thick. Cub and rub. Carve, change the C to an H for halve. Fawn and lawn. Foal and coal. Fry and dry. Kid and hid. And then kit and bit. Down the bottom here, it's asking you to think of other words that have let on the end, which imply that something is small. And the 3 that we've come up with are droplet, booklet and eyelet. Okay, you may have others, but if you did have any of those ones, you can obviously give them a tick. But if you've added your own 3, great. And you can also tick those off. Well done. Now H. We've got another word search. You may remember these from your last pieces of homework. So hopefully you found all of those words. What did it leave? Well, it left this little line here. These all end in AT. So all of these words end in a T. Okay. So hopefully you got that correct. Where I've highlighted in purple or pink, we can see that those are the letters that we needed to get this bit up here. Okay, everything else should have been filled in. Hopefully you found all of those words. I tend to tick them off, and that just makes sure that I don't miss any out. Which of these words are antonyms for these words? So these words are opposites. We've got sink and float, deny and admit, accept and reject, praise and insult, sleepy, alert, and child and adult. Again, if you've got all those correct, give them a nice tick. And you could put a mark out of 6 here, just to see how many you managed to get right. Next activity, which of your words are synonyms for these words? And we've got run, sprint, teach, instruct, routine and habit, mature and adult, environment and habitat, wake and alert, argue and fight, and check and inspect. Again, if you need to just double check with what we've got up here, then you can, but that was out of 8. So if you put your mark out of 8 here, you can easily check to see how you got on. Next we had a crossword. We're usually really good at crosswords. So you've got your clues down the side, and what you can do as you do each one is maybe cross it out so you know you've done it. Okay. All of the answers have been put into the grid and the words are here. So all these words were used in this particular crossword. Okay. There's just again proof of what the answers are if you want to double check it that way. But you can just have a look down through, make sure you've got the words spelt correctly and that they all join up, but they also relate to these clues down here. Okay, so if you have got that right, give it a nice tick. As I say, what you can do is you do each clue, you can easily eliminate the words as you go along. Okay, let's have a look on the next task. Next task, we need to write the plural of these words. So we've got area and areas. Cargoes, we add ES to the end. Cinemas, just adding an S. Duos, with echoes, we're adding an ES on the end. Eras, we're just adding an S. Fleas, potatoes, another example of adding an ES onto the end. Sodas, sofas, solos and trios, they all require an S on the end. Helpful hint here, the vowel that is the most commonly used to end English words is an E. Words from other languages often end in other vowels. Can you find out where the words in the list on the page originate from? And that could be an extra little bit of homework for you if you want to have a go at doing that. But as you go down through these 12 questions, just give them a tick if you got it right. Maybe it was the ES. You just need to double check. And as you go down through, you can then again write your score out of 12. Brilliant if you got all of those right. Next, we've got a series of words again that fit into all of our sentences. So what I would suggest here is you either pause the video, but you just double check that each of the words goes into the right sentence. Okay. Just double check as you go down through. And again, all of these words were taken from the list down here. If you again want just proof of it there, then you can just go up there. So this is task C, and we're now in Unit 5. Remove one letter from each of the following words to make a new word. So we've got learn to lean, faction and action, print and pint, bride and ride. Can you think of other pairs of words where the first word can have a letter added to make another word? Yeah, well, I've just picked out 3 that we could have here. So we could have rain, R-E-I-G-N, and then of course if we take the G out, it makes this rain. If we take L from learn, we can make earn, and then hazel, we can actually take the L off and make haze. So that might have been the 3 that you'd chosen, or you may come up with some new ones, but well done if you came up with your own. Then E, we've got to fill in the grid with your words, and again all the words are down the side. They did provide you with some letters to give you a bit of a clue. What I tend to find with these, if you start with the first one, so maybe you started off with, say you started with banner, then that gives you AN, and if you have a look down the list, well, you've got 2 options. You've got announce or annoyed. Well, there's less letters in annoyed, so it will be annoyed going across. Maybe then that gives you a clue to cuddle and so on. So you can use each one to help you work it out. What I always suggest, as I said in the previous one, if you eliminate the words as you go down through, one, you know you've used them all, and then if there are any left at the end, hopefully those are the ones that you can slot in. So a bit of a process of elimination. If you cross them out as you use them, it helps you make sure you've got all the words in your grid. Brilliant if you got all that right. Again, give it a nice tick if you've got it correct. Write each of your words out, breaking them into syllables, and that's what these have been done. So all those words they've split into the following symbols. Okay, so just double check down through that you've split them correctly. Okay, sound them out as you're going along. You've got 16 words here that you need to split into their syllables. Brilliant if you manage to get 16 out of 16 there. Now, this may not be easy to follow, so what we've done is we've also captured over here what the right sentence, the right definition is for those words down on the left. If you did want to just follow the red line to match it up, then you can. But what I would suggest is once you know what word it goes with, so like this one is vein, carries our blood along, then you can just give it a tick as you go down through the right definitions. So this may be an opportunity to pause the video and just double check that you have matched them up correctly, and just go down through again and just double check, see how you got on. Which of the words are antonyms? We're looking at opposites here. Afternoon, morning, busy and idle, moving and stationary, just make sure it's got the A so it's not moving, modest and vain. Which of these words are synonyms? So just be careful that you've checked which one you're doing. Grieving and mourning, visitor and guest, captured and caught, flock and herd, proud and vain, and then modern and current. So again, just give it a nice tick if you've got it correct. Right, we're now moving on to the next book. So we're going to be looking now at your Verbal Reasoning 8 to 9 book. And we're going to be looking at various different tests in here. I think we're starting with test 7, and then we're going to move through to 8 and 9. So test 7 is the first one that we need. Now, what I've done with the blue marks is I've chosen from the multiple choice words to make sure that the sentence makes sense. This is all about volcanoes, so you can double check down through to see whether you've selected the right word. There is a very, very long word here, and what you might do with that particular word is actually go on to the internet and actually type it in, and you can listen to the pronunciation. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this. I'll let you have a go at that one at home. So if you look down through, just double check again that you've chosen the right words. Obviously reading beyond the sentence will really help here, just to make sure that this closed passage is completed correctly. So again, might be an opportunity for you to pause the video, just double check that you selected the right word. Next, we've got to look for the words that are not related. So we're looking for the odd ones out. On number 13, it's onion. Okay, and the reason that it's onion is because all the others are types of herbs. Next one is expert, and the reason it's expert is because all the others are people who have a keen interest in something but aren't an authority on it. So like an enthusiast, a fan, a follower and a supporter. Whereas an expert is someone who has authority on something. Nettle, because the others are types of flowers. Number 16 is hat. The others are all hats, but sock is of course the odd one out because it's not a hat. And number 17, the other 4 are types of traditional story. So that's why book is the odd one out there. These are insert the letters, but they are synonyms. So we've got bog and marsh, beak and bill, lucky and fortunate, and sociable and outgoing. So well done if you managed to get all of those correct. Next, we've got to find the word that goes with the group of words on the left. So we'll quickly just run down through these. Toaster, because all the others are types of kitchen appliance. Number 23 is petal, because all the words are parts of a plant. Number 24 is grin. All the words are types of facial expression. 25 is jellyfish, because they are all types of sea creature. And the last one, all the words are types of higher land. So in your first test, in test 7, add them up and then you can put your score there out of 26. Don't forget, in the back of your book there is a progress grid on the inside front cover. So under test 7 you can write down how many marks you got out of 26. Next, we've got test 8, and this was a comprehension to start with, and it was an interesting comprehension about where King Richard III was actually buried. So you would have read down through that. What you'll see highlighted is where the key information is. Okay, so that's quite important that you look at that. We've also would suggest as you go down through the comprehension, you are really referring back to the text as often as you can, really to clarify your information. There is a little glossary down the bottom, and a friary is the key word here, and a friary is a sort of monastery. So again, use that bit of information, that might be important. And these are the answers to this comprehension. So you've got 1A, 2A, 3B, 4D. So again, you can go back to the text and see where the information was highlighted. 5C, 6A and 7C. Again, you can double check your comprehension score. Now, next ones, these are reshuffled sentences, or you have to find the word that doesn't fit in the sentence. So again, worth having a good look down through these. So number 8, the sentence should have been Carla felt sick on the bus, so the word van is not required. Number 9, we've got I paid for 2 ice creams, so 8 is the odd one out there, or the superfluous word. Number 10, I brought pork pies for the picnic, so forks not required. Koalas live in the forests of Australia, so kangaroo was the word that I didn't require there. Number 12, we've got he fell asleep during the film, so snores was the superfluous word. Number 13 is Anisha always baked scones for her friends, so cook is the one we don't need there. Number 14, we've got speaks, and the sentence should have been Chinese is a hard language to learn. Well done if you managed to get all 7 of those correct. You can just put a little score out of 7 for your reshuffled sentences. And the last part of this test, we're looking at opposite in meaning. It's quite important you remember these are opposites. Spotless and filthy, filthy being dirty. Well-behaved and naughty. Splendid and unimpressive. Chilly and warm. Drowsy and alert, and then part and whole. Again, you can write your score out of 20 there, and then go to the back of your book and record down your score. Last one is test 9, and we need to go down through, first of all, this closed passage is all about the Eden Project in Cornwall. So if you can go down through and you can tick off the words that have been filled in. Okay, so you can just go down through, double check you chose the right word. You need to pause the video just to double check, and you can. Excellent, well done if you managed to get 12 out of 12 on that first close part. And let's have a look at the next ones. These are more reshuffled sentences, so we can have a little look and see how you fared with these. Was is the superfluous word, because the sentence should be his teeth were chattering from the cold. Then we've got Gordon was gloating about winning the competition. Oh, sorry, no, I've missed one. Number 14 first. Rishi didn't respond to my message, so it should have been ask. And then we've got brag as the superfluous word here. Gordon was gloating about winning the competition. Number 16, the Jack Russell was always yapping, as in barking. And dogs was the word we didn't need there. Here we've got words, again, that we're putting in that have the same, are related to the words on the left. So we've got tornado, because they're all words of extreme weather. Then we've got crib, all of them are type of beds. Number 19 is crow, because all those words are types of British garden bird. 20 is mouldy, all the words mean gone off. And number 21, we've got junk, all the words mean waste. These are more insert the letters, they are opposites, so we're looking at infrequent and constant, airy and stuffy, compulsory and voluntary, end and beginning, and insult and compliment. Out of 26, again, you can write your score, and hopefully you did really well on those. And lastly, the last task that you had for your homework was puzzle 3 on page 35. So here we are, and what you had to do is reorder these letters, and then these are the words that you would have come up with. The letters that are in the blue boxes, a little bit difficult to see here, but easier to see in your book, you then reorder them, and it was I am buried underneath the cactus. So we had silver, fortune, valuable, wealth, coins, and precious. Those are the words that you get from reorganizing those letters, or whether you're doing opposites or maybe rhyming. Okay, so there's a few different little tasks there. Hopefully you worked out the treasure is buried underneath the cactus. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope it's helped you mark your homework. If there are any questions you're not sure about, you need clarification, you can easily ask us or email us directly, but I hope you found it useful, and I hope we got lots of ticks and lot right. Well done, thank you very much, hopefully see you soon, bye.